Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob does.
SpongeBob is a Nickelodeon show that's been going on for 22 years. Yeah, you heard me right. 22 years. This sponge is 22 years old, and in its time, it has like 13 seasons. It's on the 13th one right now. And we're looking at the first one today. The first season that started in 1999. So, SpongeBob was created by a wonderful person called Steven Hillenburg, R.I.P., who taught marine biology somewhere before SpongeBob, and then he came to work at Nickelodeon and worked on Rick and Morty, and he wanted to create a little show called SpongeBoy Ahoy that eventually became SpongeBob. You know, you probably have heard this story before, and yeah, it eventually came to be SpongeBob SquarePants. That's just a brief history on how SpongeBob was originally created. The first episode was called Help Wanted, that aired on May 1st, 1999, which was about SpongeBob going to a job interview at the Krusty Krab. I'm going to have to go search for like a special spatula to work at the Krusty Krab and all of that, and Mr. Krabs and Squidward thinking that there was no such thing as those items, and then SpongeBob absolutely blew them out of the way, and there was nematodes while SpongeBob was gone there, and it was a pretty good episodes for starting off. The animation still needed some work. As you can see, Squidward looks a bit more like green or like bluish than usual. I don't know. SpongeBob himself, is his design is like his back is like more bent than usual, as you can see, and Mr. Krabs. I feel like everyone's like, it looks a little bit different. You know what I mean? Like, it's a season one. Look, SpongeBob's like a lot more like lint bag, and all that. SpongeBob's voice, um, when you watch the later episodes, it's a lot more high pitched, and this one's pretty bearable compared to the later seasons and all that. You know, in my opinion, I think there are 5 different types of SpongeBob episodes, and I'm gonna run through them all with you right now. The first type of SpongeBob episodes is, of course, Krusty Krab episodes. I think this is kind of obvious, episodes like, Pickles and Help Wanted, just to name a few. I'll be going into depth into all of the episodes that are going into these categories later, but you know what I mean by Krusty Krab episodes if you have seen the show. Number 2 is Annoying Squidward. Again, if you've seen the show, you will know exactly what I'm talking about here. As for all of them, except maybe for like the last one, but some of them aren't just really annoying Squidward, but they're just like Squidward, SpongeBob, and Patrick, doing something, or like maybe Squidward does something bad and he has to get tortured. You know what I mean? Like Bubble Stand and Jellyfishing are can like go into this category. You know what I mean? Like that's the best category I can really put them in. Number 3 is Plankton episodes, which is basically Krusty Krab episodes, but like they have plankton in them, I guess, just to kind of divide out the Krusty Krab episodes, just so they don't have as much in them. Okay, there's not that much plankton episodes in season 1, though, so just because plankton is in them doesn't mean that it's a plankton episode. Of course, like Fun is a plankton episode, just saying, but Culture Shock is not, because it has plankton in it for like a minute, like just a little scene, but like overall it's a Krusty Krab episode. Walking Small is a plankton episode that doesn't have the Krusty Krab in it, so you know what I mean. It doesn't have to have Krusty Krab in it, Anyway. Number 4 is Sandy episodes. Again, there's not really that much in this category, but like Tea at the Tree Dome and Squirrel Jokes. That's not even in season 1. But now I'm forgetting the name. Ripped Pants. I put that into the Sandy episodes category, or this 5th category that I'm going to mention next. And number 5 is other episodes, which is probably going to be bigger than Planet Plankton and Sandy episodes. Episodes that don't really fit into any category. Probably episodes like Gary episodes, because like that is like too small of a category. It's only like 1 per season or something. Maybe like a Christmas episode or like a Halloween episode, or like along those lines, one that isn't a Krusty Krab or Plankton episode, or an Annoying Squidward episode, or a Sandy episode, it doesn't fit into any of those categories. Maybe it could just be episode with just Mr. Krabs that doesn't include the Krusty Krab at all. I don't know. Most episodes that have Krusty Krab in them will be counted as a Krusty Krab episode, but you know what I mean. We'll get to those other episodes at the end of the video because we have to cover the other episodes first. Other than Help Wanted, Pickles episode 6B is the first Krusty Krab episode and the first appearance of Bubble Bass, and one of 2 appearances of Bubble Bass in the first 7 seasons. This is definitely one of the most underrated episodes. Squidward in this episode is really great. And second Krusty Krab episode is episode 8B, Squeaky Boots. There wasn't really that much traditional Krusty Krab episodes in the first season. This is the first episode starring Mr. Krabs in a major role, but it still has the Krusty Krab in it a lot, and this one's pretty freaky at the end of it. Jesus Christ, Mr. Krabs is going crazy for those boots. Culture Shock episode 10A is up next, and this is an episode where they have like a big show and everything, and it's a pretty cool Krusty Krab episode, especially when everyone treats Squidward's dance really badly, even though it's actually pretty good in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I don't understand that. Next up is Employee of the Month. That's like episode 12B, I think. And this is when SpongeBob and Squidward battle to become the Employee of the Month and go way too far. It's like, it says in this that like SpongeBob has won over like 12 Employee of the Month awards, I think, which is kind of weird. So season 1 takes place. That's like from Help Wanted all the way to this episode. It's like over a year. I think I'm not sure when this episode came out, but that's kind of weird. Episode 17A Arg has Mr. Krabs play a board game of this game, and then like go get carried away and go to the exact spot on Bikini Bottom and actually find treasure. It's not really a Krusty Krab episodes, but like I just shoved it in there because there really isn't enough in this season, guys. Oh. Next up is 28 Hooky, the last Krusty Krab episodes of the season, and my least favorite, definitely. I don't know what the hell's up with this episode. I don't know, just kind of mediocre to me. Yeah, SpongeBob's design is looking better, I guess. Yeah. So there is 7 Krusty Krab episodes, which is a 6th of the season, actually. In the later episodes, I can definitely see the Krusty Krab section becoming more populated as more episodes are dedicated to Krusty Krab, because there's not that much in season 1, but what there is a lot of is Annoying Squidward episodes, which we're going to get to right now. First off is Reef Blower, which is actually a silent short that brings the episode count up to 41 instead of 40 episodes, because there's 20 segments in the season. But whatever, this is silent. I don't know if this was like a decision, or if the recording setup actually broke during the recording. They weren't able to record their voices. I don't know. There was a rumor about that, but whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Bubble Stand, of course, is a very good classic episode. Bring it around town. You remember that? And this is the first true Annoying Squidward episode, because the last one was silent and, it was a short. The episode Jellyfishing is up next on the Annoying Squidward list, and I think this is a bit weird because, I think Squidward gets a bit too much tortured in this episode. I mean, he gets a jellyfish stuck in his mouth, for crying out loud. That's a bit... he was only really just a bit rude to SpongeBob and Squidward. He didn't really deserve all of this, so... yeah, but it's still actually a pretty funny episode, in my opinion. Naughty Dog Little Neighbors can be confused with a lot of different episodes because of the name, but I think Squidward actually does deserve the pain he goes through in this, because, sometimes Squidward just wants to be friends with Squidward. They don't really mean any harm, and they just want to help him, and he did cause them to lose each other, and it really is his fault. Next up is pizza delivery, which is kind of has a Krusty Krab bit at the beginning, but mainly it is an annoying Squidward episode. Of course, them trying to deliver the pizza and all that, and the Krusty Krab pizza song always comes into my head at the most inconvenient of times. Thanks, SpongeBob. Next up is Opposite Day, which is a very, very funny episode and a very, distinct episode. There isn't any episode like this, so it doesn't have the problem of naughty nautical neighbours. Next up is Squidward the Unfriendly Ghost, kind of a boring episode. Just SpongeBob and Patrick just doing things for Squidward, just kind of boring. I Was a Teenage Gary is a very weird one, very creepy. This is where Squidward babysits Gary for a weekend, and it goes completely wrong. Yeah, it's just one of the season 1 episodes, along with Squeaky Boots, that really freaks me out. I think SB129 is my favorite episode of the season. Very weird with the whole time traveling thing and this scene, but definitely very, very memorable. The Paper isn't an episode that I've seen that much, but that's pretty alright. Nothing special. Fools in April is the last annoying Squidward episode of the season, and Squidward's pretty cruel in this one, but I just like him trying to apologize to SpongeBob. It's pretty cool. So in season 1, there's 11 annoying Squidward episodes. I thought maybe there'd be a few more because there's a lot in the early of season 1. Like the first 5 episodes, half of them are annoying Squidward episodes, but they kind of slowed down towards the end of the season. They put in some more episodes in there because, to be honest, the first half of season 1, it has a bit too much annoying Squidward in it, and not enough Krusty Krab or anything else. But anyway, let's get to the Plankton episode. Yeah, right. The first Plankton episode is called, Plankton. The episode's just called Plankton. A very good introduction for the character. Kind of a basic plot about Plankton taking over SpongeBob's body, but very enjoyable. The next Plankton episode is called Fun. Very basic title, but great song. And SpongeBob and Plankton actually become friends. The first time they could become friends because they become friends in the movie. The second SpongeBob movie and all that, but again, a very fun episode. And the third and last Plankton episode, yeah guys, it's been a long journey, we've come so far, is Walking Small, a very different Plankton episode. That means that it's only 2 typical Plankton episodes in season 1, but this is very different because it's Plankton. He's on the beach and he's trying to get SpongeBob to be more like him, and he's trying to build a mega bucket and stuff. He's not really trying to steal the formula at all, which is kind of different, but wow, there's not that much Plankton episodes in this season. So yeah, there's only 3 Plankton episodes in the season, and only 2 of them are traditional Plankton episodes where he's trying to steal the formula, but I guess they were kind of trying to test out what Plankton should do, and they kind of got the formula thing running and going by season 2. Yes, we're 21 episodes down and 20 more to go. Let's get to the Sandy episode. Tea at the Tree Dome was the first Sandy episode where, SpongeBob and Patrick are first meeting Sandy, and it's kind of weird now that Camp Coral exists because they meet Sandy in Camp Coral, and that's before this episode when they were kids. Kind of weird, but this is a cool episode. It kind of drags on a little bit. I feel like I feel like, I don't know, it's just a little bit slow. You know what I mean? Yeah. The next Sandy episode is Ripped Pants. I guess it doesn't really have Sandy in it that much, and of course it's mainly a SpongeBob episode, but it has Sandy in it and everything, and whatever. I just count it as a Sandy episode. That's just how I'm doing things here, and I really do like this episode. It's just a cool thing. It's just a cool episode that you should learn to be yourself, and the song is great and everything. I love it. Oh guys, I kind of forgot about Home Sweet Pineapple. That's an annoying Squidward episode. Just didn't think about that one. 2 annoying Squidward episodes in a row. Can you see why? That's in the first part of the season. Yeah, I know they really overdid that in the first season, really, didn't they? I'm sorry, I have to try not to make that mistake again. This episode's great. I'll be adding that to the annoying Squidward episodes. Anyway, back to the Sandy episodes. Next up is Sandy's Rocket. I know, again, it doesn't have Sandy as the main character, but still, it still counts. This episode's really funny. SpongeBob and Patrick think they're on the moon and all that, and it's a pretty out there episode. It's one of 3 times that they go to the moon. Well, in this one they don't really go to the moon, but it goes more in depth later on in the season, in the show. Next up is Muscle Bob Puff Pants. This is a great episode. I just love how SpongeBob must be buffing for the Sandy and everyone else. I mean, I think SpongeBob has a little crush on Sandy. Yeah, theory. Next up is Karate Choppers. Love this episode. SpongeBob really gets fired. There's a very dark theory on this. Go look at, if you want to know it, just go look up darkest SpongeBob theories. I think Wicked Binge made a video about darkest SpongeBob theories, and the first theory they mention is about this episode, and not a very polite one. Suds is the second last Sandy episode of the season, and although Sandy doesn't come in until the second half, I still count it as the Sandy episodes because, whatever. Sandy isn't really in that much of these episodes. I mean, well, she is in them, but she isn't in that much, much of the episodes. She's only in like half of them. Oh my god, like half of the run time on the episodes. I'm really struggling to say that. But the episode's kind of alright. I guess SpongeBob gets really sick and he's kind of disgusting, but And the last Sandy episode of the season is Texas, because Sandy is Texan, so this is really fun. Everyone comes together for Sandy, and everyone comes together for Sandy, and it's kind of sweet. But later seasons kind of show that Sandy is kind of an outcast, even though everyone seems to care for her. And this episode's kind of weird, but whatever. It's just really nice, So 7 Krusty Krab episodes, 12 Annoying Squidward episodes, 3 Planet episodes, and 7 Sandy episodes. Yeah, I updated the Annoying Squidward episodes. Okay, there is a good amount of Sandy episodes, as much as there are Krusty Krab episodes, though Krusty Krab would definitely outnumber Sandy in later seasons, especially season 6 and 5 and 6. They barely have any Sandy episodes in them, which is a pity. They probably should use that character more. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Let's see how much other episodes they are. If you do the math, you'll find out how much they are, though. The first other episode is Boating School. Maybe I should have put the Boating School episodes as their own category. I probably should do that for season 2. Comment down below if we actually want that. Boating School. This is a classic episode. Very basic name, but first appearance of Mrs. Puff and stuff, and SpongeBob, he cheats. The next episode is Merman and Barnacle Boy, one of 2 Merman and Barnacle Boys episodes of the season. These definitely aren't getting their own category because there just isn't enough of them in the season. There's either 1 or 2, so it doesn't really matter. So these are obviously going to go into the other categories. And Merman and Barnacle Boy are just very fun to watch, and seeing them in their younger selves on the TV, and they get to see them in their old appearances. It's just so fun. Although the voice actor for Merman Man has actually passed away 4 years ago, I think now, so they can't really appear in the show that much anymore. It's just fun to look back on these episodes. Next up, the next other episode is another Mrs. Puff episode. Wait, what? This is the debut of the classroom, I guess, and doesn't really have the boating school in it that much, but it would be considered as a boating school episode, I guess. But it's just kind of more of a SpongeBob and Patrick episode, I guess. SpongeBob just going around ruining the town, and just all that good stuff. Yeah. Patrick in this one definitely is very funny. Next up is Nature Pants. Patrick is very emotional in this one. This definitely fits into the other category because it isn't a Krusty Krab episode. It kind of has Krusty Krab elements and Sandy elements in it because Sandy's in it, and the beginning is a bit of a Krusty Krab bit, and at the end Krusty Krab is in it. You know what I mean. Next up is the Chaperone, the first episode with Pearl in a major role, but this one just kind of feels a bit creepy to me. I mean, Pearl going out with SpongeBob on a dance? It's a bit weird considering he works for Pearl's father. It is kind of weird, but I don't even think Mr. Krabs is Pearl's real father anyway, so it's fine. Next up is Scaredy Pants. I think I said to you guys that like Halloween and like Christmas specials will be in the other category. So here we are in ScaryPants. SpongeBob was pretty creepy in this episode. Legend of Bikini Bottom definitely is kind of inspired off of this episode, kind of like how it's SpongeBob Christmas is inspired off of Christmas Who. Next up was one of my favourite episodes of the season, along with SP129, Sleepy Time. This includes loads of characters like like SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, Pearl, Gary. All in their dreams. Pretty cool. I think like a newer episode. It's kind of like explores dreams, but that's just a rip off of this episode, to be honest. And I think this episode's probably better. I don't know. I like this episode. It's pretty cool to see everyone's dreams and all that, and they all just come into SpongeBob's house and say like, "What the hell, SpongeBob? What's going on?" Though I don't know why Plankton is surprised that SpongeBob in his dreams, because he's wrecking the crushed crab. I mean, SpongeBob would be there to experience that. Next up is Valentine's Day. Patrick gets a bit too crazy over not getting anything. Yeah, but this is another, I guess, holiday special, like a special, whatever, There's no real half-an-hour specials in season 1, though. What all about Patrick? Yeah. Wow, Sam Patrick stuff. But this is a very fun episode about SpongeBob and Patrick's friendship. Or at the end of this video now, everybody. Next up is Rock Bottom, probably the only season 1 episode that doesn't take place in Bikini Bottom. It takes place in Rock Bottom, and it's a very fun episode. SpongeBob keeps missing the bus. It's just kind of comedic how annoyed SpongeBob does get. But it's just a very fun episode, Next up is Neptune's Spatula, the first episode with King Neptune in it. There's a bit of confusion on it because he's designed differently in the SpongeBob movie. But this is kind of like an okay episode. Patrick's face is on his butt for the entire episode. Very, very weird. Here we are, the last episode I'm covering, the last other episode, and actually the last episode of the entire season, episode 20B, Merman and America Boy 2. I've finally covered them all, and we'll have to go to season 2 next, but anyway, this episode carries on for, wait a minute, this episode carries on from Mermaid Man and America Boy 1, because all the other episodes are basically about, like, the villain, one episode's about the villain, one episode's about Mermaid Man's belt, and like they're kind of like standalone stories. But like this continues off from the first one. Mermaid Man and Barker Boy still don't like SpongeBob, but they earn his trust. After at the end, SpongeBob earns Mermaid Man and Barker Boy's trust, and it's happy ending. So the final number of episodes is 7 Krusty Krab episodes, 12 Annoying Squidward episodes, 3 Plankton episodes, 7 Sandy episodes, and 12 other episodes. So 7 Krusty Krab and Sandy episodes, and 12 Annoying Squidward and other episodes each. So other and Annoying Squidward are the most used things in this season, but the biggest categories. Of course, other is probably going to be used the most, just for there's a lot of different kind of stories in it, like Mermaid Man and Barker Boy and Boarding School and all of that. It's kind of weird that the 2 Boarding School episodes are at the beginning of the season and then there's none for the rest. Maybe I might put them into their own category later, but there has to be enough of them because I do know that there's more than 3 episodes of Plankton in the later seasons each. But I don't know about the Boarding School. But anyway, yes, there's probably going to be more Krusty Krab episodes in later seasons, and I think the Sandy episodes will stay the same for the next few seasons, I think, but they'll go down once we get to like season 6 and 7. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. Actually, I know the Squidward episodes probably will go down a bit, definitely in season 2 and 3. There still is a good amount of them in those seasons, but definitely not as much as like the beginning of season 1. Like, seriously, all Annoying Squidward. But let's get to some notes that I have about the season. So I do have some notes I want to say about the season. Let's get into it. The first note is that this season has a very distinct animation style. Of course, SpongeBob's more like leant back and like Squidward is kind of a bit more like green in the beginning of the season. It's a more rough version of the seasons onward. It kind of has like a good atmosphere, like season 9, because season 9 is when they first started doing HD episodes. But I like the animation in this season. It's a very good atmosphere. A lot of basic ideas were in the season, especially basic titles like boating school, bubble stand, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, just very basic titles for episodes. Pizza delivery, even, just basic ideas, but just titles. But the main thing is that a lot of these titles could be mistaken with a lot of other episodes. Like there is a lot of boating school episodes in the show, so having the first boating school episode be called boating school isn't a very good idea, because some people might not remember what the first boating school episode is, so they might get confused. As well with non-canonical neighbors, I mean, like that could be confused with like hundreds of episodes. I do have to say again that there's a lot of Annoying Squidward episodes, especially towards the beginning of the season. Like episode 1D is Annoying Squidward episode, episode 2A, 3A, 4A, Annoying Squidward, episode 5A and B are Annoying Squidward, so a lot of Annoying Squidward. Yeah. This season did have experimental episodes like The Chaperone, Neptune's Spatula, and of course Walking Small, just to kind of figure out like what the characters should do. They got the plankton formula thing kind of going. King Neptune hasn't appeared in the series that much, but he's usually the ruler of the sea, and Pearl is the teenage daughter. I mean, she never goes to dance with SpongeBob ever again. Like I thought that was really, really creepy. Like, come on, what the hell was that about? This show definitely did take a while to figure out what it was doing, because I guess a few other shows got that a little bit sooner. And guys, that does it for SpongeBob SquarePants Season 1 Retrospective. Wow, that was a lot to get through.
That's gonna do it for the video, guys. And if you enjoyed it, please smash that like button and subscribe to my channel, because I need views and subscribers to be happy. Also, comment down below what your favorite episode of SpongeBob is. Yeah. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.